Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm your host, Damian DeVille, and for those of you just tuning back in, this segment of the show is called 5 Minutes in Hell, where we put a guest in the hot seat. We have a very special guest joining us on the show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Victor Sara. Hey everybody, how's everyone doing out there? What's up, man? How's it going? What's up? Victor, please tell us a bit about yourself. I'm a 59-year-old Marine Corps veteran from Clarksville, Tennessee. I also have this neurological condition that changes the way I see people's faces. So tell me, Devil Dog, what is the name of your condition? Prosopometamorphopsia, or PMO for short. That seems like quite a mouthful. Well, Danny, I think you can handle it, knowing how large that mouth is. Hey, I'm just calling it how I see it. Speaking about how you see it, can you describe your experience with PMO? One morning, about 3 years ago, I woke up and saw my roommate looked hideously deformed. Well, more than he usually did, and I just couldn't believe my eyes. Everything about his face seemed stretched and pointy. His eyes, nose, ears, mouth, chin, you name it. And he also had these deep grooves in his forehead. But it wasn't just him, it's everybody that I've seen. That's how everyone just looks to me now. Believe it or not, the reason I brought you on the show tonight, Victor, isn't for your hot takes. Rather, I'm quite interested in your medical condition. PMO is an extremely rare neurological condition, with less than 100 documented cases since 1904. I wanted to pick your brain in particular, because your case is extremely well documented. And not to mention, you're from a town where I used to call home. From what I have researched, PMO has only affected your ability to see people's faces in person. Is that correct? That's right, Damien. Other body parts look perfectly normal. Objects don't seem to look any different than they ought to. I can see normal faces just fine in photographs. It's just the real deal that throws me through a loop. And by the way, the song is "The Devil Went Down to Georgia," not Tennessee. Be that as it may, can you tell me what you see in this picture? Shoot, that's one handsome devil. So you see a demon-like face in the photo as well? No, he kind of looks like you. If you weren't so dang ugly, that is. Well, you're not too easy on the eyes yourself. Certainly not to myself, at least. When I look in the mirror, I see myself the same way I see others. Inner demon, so to speak. It sounds like you only recently developed PMO. What do you think brought it about? The doctors ain't entirely sure, but there are a few active theories in the works. Let's hear it. Don't worry, Damien. You don't have any trouble hearing what I have to say. About 4 months before I started experiencing PMO, I suffered from carbon monoxide poisoning. A decade before that, I fell down and busted my noggin, and the docs were perplexed. The team of scientists came down from Dartmouth and ended up getting involved in the situation. These kind of delusions and hallucinations are often mistaken for the positive signs of schizophrenia. Well, however, once they knew my perception was skewed only in a limited capacity, they ruled that out rather quickly. However, they did note my history with PTSD and bipolar disorder as comorbidities. Let's put his brain scans on the screen. Disclaimer, this is not the actual size. So their first hypothesis was that my fusiform face area, the part of your brain that handles the facial recognition, they thought that had been damaged. But it turns out I had a aneuploid cyst in my left hippocampus. They still are unsure if that's the cause of my condition, but the way we perceive things, that's a complicated system. It relies on several parts of the brain working together and exchanging information, so it's really hard to pinpoint where the exact problem is.
What's the hardest part about living with PMO?
It's affected how I see people, from loved ones to strangers. Everyone looks demonic, and it's like I'm living in some kind of horror movie all the time. You know, but on a practical level, the hardest part about having PMO is that it's, you know, so often it's misdiagnosed, and some doctors think you have face blindness or some other sort of condition on account of, you know, PMO is exceedingly rare and it's just unheard of in the medical community.
Were the doctors able to find a treatment that was effective for your case of PMO?
It's pretty simple, actually. We were able to figure out that specific wavelengths of light played a large role in my inability to perceive faces correctly. Now, we came up with these nifty green lens glasses here that seem to do the trick. Now, when I wear them, instead of seeing everyone as demonic, I see them as the whole, really.
Do you think your case will increase the awareness for PMO and advance the way it's diagnosed and treated moving forward?
Absolutely. They're able to pioneer a whole new field of research and treatment based on my case of PMO.
This is what the team at Dartmouth was able to engineer in order to recreate how you see people through PMO.
You got that right.
Can you describe what your role was in that process?
Sure thing. Those images were painstakingly created based on my observations, contrasting the facial features of how I saw them in person through the lens of PMO with how they actually looked on the photographs, which is how they're supposed to look. I'm currently working with the Dartmouth guys by testing several methods to reverse or ease the symptoms of PMO. They set up this website to help others with PMO get the proper diagnoses they need, and they think my case will be able to bring awareness to not only the medical community but to those who are suffering so that they can be taken seriously. They're talking about rolling out a whole new line of prescription glasses based on my prototype. I didn't make it, but I was involved in the process, and to help reduce the distortion and see people for who they really are. You know, Damien, there's just one thing I can't seem to wrap my mind around.
What's that, Victor?
PMO has never made me see horns or red skin on somebody before. Did you get like a sunburn or something?
We aren't fans of the sun down here.
I always knew you late night show guys were freaks.
I'm afraid you're out of time, Victor. Oh, and by the way, those contracts you signed before the show, they say your soul belongs to me now. You ought to read the fine print.
Ah, go to hell.
Oh, you sweet, sweet child. Haven't you figured it out, Victor? We're already here!
Oh, I just thought this was California. No big deal, right? Come on, that was a good one, alright. Cut the show, I'm done.